There is a growing level of intolerance to dissent and criticisms. People in the position of power are becoming uncomfortable with the values, the concept, the philosophies, and the ideals of democracy that usher them into power. Journalists are still arrested and charged for terrorism and sedition. Protesters are still being arrested and jailed. People are still being haunted for expressing their opinion. Court orders are still being disobeyed. And there is a climate of fear in the hearts of Nigerians when it comes to expressing their opinions and views. People who find themselves in the position of power parade themselves as monarchs and kings and infallibles. They have forgotten the very ladder that took them to position of power, which was simply democracy and constitutional process and rule. Democracy has the tendency of sliding to tyranny if citizens refuse to take the road of vigilance. People in the position of power must constantly and consistently be reminded that they are elected into office and they have sworn the oath of office to respect, obey, and uphold the Constitution of the country. And if we go to sleep, this democracy is bound to fail. It is by consistently holding those in the position of power to account and making sure that they toe the line of honor, of democracy, of constitutional rule, that you can protect and defend this democracy. The right to protest is a fundamental right guaranteed by our Constitution, and no government and no individual in government can deny you that right. Secondly, we must accept the fact that our country is failing. The symptoms of a failing state are evident in our nation today. The security apparatus of the state have been overwhelmed and challenged by armed bandits, insurgents, and herdsmen that have today gone beyond acting as insurgents. They have become an alternative government and an authority unto themselves. We have reached a point in the history of our country where bandits are given conditions to our government. We have reached a point in the history of our country where bandits sit down with governors and people in the position of power, tea and crackers, and decide what to do or not what to do. We have reached a point in the history of our country where criminals, rogues, and bandits are in full control of parts of our country and are becoming difficult or impossible to dislodge. Going through the newspapers today on my way to this place, I have read somewhere where bandits, for whoever gone to school knows the meaning of bandits, are given conditions for ceasefire, which include the release of their members. Now, you have to differentiate between an armed insurgent group that has a certain philosophy or ideology they are pursuing, and say they have a political agenda. After the revolution, with what you have, bandits. This is how low this country has descended. The road from Kaduna to Abuja is less than 150 kilometers, and it is just the outskirts of Abuja. It has become impossible for our countrymen to trade because the kidnappers have taken over that road. In the bushes between Zamfara, Kaduna, and Niger State, the bandits have displaced thousands of villages and have taken over authority in those ungoverned areas. In the thieves and the jukuns, people are dying every day. And in the northeast, the insurgent group that we could have combated 10 years ago have now aligned themselves with an international terror group, the ISIS and Al-Qaeda. And it's becoming difficult for anybody to deal with them.